Hey everyone, this is Randy from BibleBuyGuide.com. In the last video, we took a look at the NASB Diadem in brown calfskin leather. And in this video, I want to take a look at how it compares to several other Bibles. So this will be our comparison video. So here is the Diadem, and I'm going to compare it to the NASB minion. Now this one, minion, has quite a bit smaller font. So here's how they compare in size. I love the minion, but I can't read the minion. It's too small for me. My 50-plus-year-old eyes don't like that small of a text. And to be honest, even the Diadem is probably about as small as I would want to go. So let's look at page 620. They are the same. Both are 1995 editions. So there we are, Jeremiah 10 in both. So I'll zoom in. So there's how they compare. Both are pretty. Both look good. Let's look at the red letter. So just red letter to red letter. And they have similar tools. They have similar maps. And they have a similar concordance, although the concordance for the Diadem is from the wide margin edition. And then there's the concordance from the minion. So if you like the minion, but you need a little bit larger font, go with the Diadem. It is a good Bible. That's a good alternative. Let's look at a couple more. That would make them a good combo. Another is the wide margin edition. Now, I do not have the NASB in wide margin, but if I did, its layout would be exactly the same as the Diadem, which would make them also a good combo. So here's the footprint for the ESV, which is the same as the NASB. So here's how they would compare. Let's get this out of the way. Now, they have a different layout because they're different translations, so you're not going to have the same pagination or anything like that. But I do want to show a little bit about how they would compare. So here are similar chapters from Jeremiah and how they would compare, to give you an idea of the font size comparison and how the paper compares. And then red letter. Here's how the red letter would compare. So if you have a wide margin NASB from Cambridge, it will match the pagination of the Diadem. And that makes them both a really good combo. Another Bible to compare is the NASB Clarion, which is one of my favorite Bibles. Clarion is really high on my list. It might be my favorite. So there is the footprint of the Clarion. Both of these are 95 NASB. The Clarion has a lot smaller footprint, but it's also a lot thicker. There's a trade-off. Either way you go, there's a trade-off. Now, the Clarion has 28 GSM paper compared to the 32 GSM for the Diadem. So let's go to Isaiah 29. So here's how these chapters compare. I do prefer the poetry in the Clarion, and also, to my eye at least, the paper in the Clarion looks to be a little bit more opaque. And they do have the same references. And the Clarion is a black letter edition, so we're not going to have red letter to compare. But I like the way that looks. That looks really good. And then it has the same maps and concordance. Now, choosing between the two, for me it would just depend on whether you like single column or double column, because they're both good choices. They both look good. They both read well. They're both easy to hold, easy to handle. My personal favorite is the Clarion because it has more space in the text. So this is a little bit larger font, and it also has more space in the text itself. Here's how prose looks. So overall, I do think the Clarion is a little bit better design. But that's just my opinion. Both are good choices. I'm splitting hairs. And here's how the brown calfskin compares. Again, I kind of prefer the calfskin on the Clarion. However, this is a paste down liner. It does keep the text flatter, keeps the page flatter, but it won't last as long as an edgeline liner. Edgeline just lasts longer. So that's how they compare. And then finally, the ESV Diadem in black calfskin leather. So here's how they compare. They're pretty much the same footprint. If there are any differences, it's so minor, it's not a big deal. So here's how they compare in poetry. And then we'll compare their red letter in prose. So here is the ESV with a Old Testament quote, and there is the NASB with an Old Testament quote. There's how their quotes compare. So both are really good choices. So that's my quick comparison of the NASB Diadem to several other Cambridge editions. Cambridge did supply this in exchange for an honest review. If you have any questions, I hopefully answered those in the last video where I did the actual review. But if you do have any questions that I did not answer there, just let me know and I will give you an answer if I can. I'll place links in the notes so that you can make a purchase if you're interested. Also a link so that you can see the written review where I have more detail. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching.